are ghosts? Are they echoes of departed spirits? Fragments of memory? Or illusions conjured by a frightened mind? All across human history, in every culture, every corner of the world, there have been sightings, stories, and whispers of the departed returning. From misty silhouettes in old castles to faint whispers down midnight corridors, ghosts have inspired terror and wonder alike. Yet after countless encounters, countless stories, one puzzling question remains. What if ghosts aren't the dead at all? What if, instead, they are us, glimpses of ourselves, existing in higher dimensions beyond the boundaries of space and time? To understand this possibility, we must first unravel the mystery of ghosts and ask ourselves if we've misunderstood them all along. To comprehend ghosts as higher dimensional beings, we must first understand dimensions themselves. We live in a three-dimensional world. Length, width, and depth define every space we inhabit. Yet physicists and mathematicians have long pondered the possibility of other dimensions, unseen layers beyond the three we experience. Imagine a tiny ant crawling on a piece of paper. To the ant, the paper is its whole universe, a flat 2D world. But we, from our 3D vantage point, can observe the ant and its world in ways it cannot comprehend. We can pick it up, move it, or watch its path from above. Now, imagine ourselves as ants. What if our three-dimensional world is only a slice of a greater, higher dimensional space? What if a being from that higher realm can move through and observe our world, appearing and disappearing like a ghost to our limited senses? Theoretical physics speaks of the fourth, fifth, or even 11th dimensions. In these spaces, time itself might be a direction we can move in, and worlds might overlap like pages in an infinite book. What we call ghosts could be glimpses of higher dimensional beings, or even ourselves seen from a higher vantage point. The veil between worlds may be thinner than we ever imagined. Ghost sightings are almost always brief. A figure glimpsed in a hallway, a shadow flitting across a room, a faint silhouette in the mist. Yet when we try to understand why this is, we encounter a paradox. If ghosts were simply dead spirits, why would they appear for only moments? Why would their presence be fleeting, as if breaking through the surface of reality, then slipping away? What if these moments aren't encounters with the dead, but glimpses of a higher dimensional visitor? An entity that can intersect our three-dimensional space only partially, like a hand reaching through a paper wall. To us, this would appear as a flash of movement, a translucent figure, or a sound with no source. To the visitor, it's simply a step across a dimensional boundary, an act that our senses can barely comprehend. The ghost paradox suggests a radical shift in understanding. What we call ghosts might not be spirits of the dead, but shadows of higher dimensional beings, brushing briefly against the surface of our reality. What if ghosts aren't strangers at all? What if they're echoes of ourselves, future or parallel versions of who we are? Physics suggests that in higher dimensions, all moments in time may coexist. What we call the past, present, or future may simply be threads in a single tangled fabric. In this view, the faint silhouette at the edge of your vision, the voice you thought you heard in an empty room, could be you, a version of yourself reaching across that dimensional divide. Perhaps we inhabit many realities at once, living countless lives across a lattice of possibility. Occasionally, when conditions align, those threads cross, allowing a moment, an image, or a whisper to slip through. What we call ghosts might not be departed spirits. They may be glimpses of ourselves, fragmented across space and time, brushing briefly against the surface of our reality. A reminder that you are not confined to a single moment or a single realm. What if ghosts are rooted not in the supernatural, but in the fundamental nature of reality? Quantum physics suggests that particles can exist in multiple places at once until observed. This phenomenon, called superposition, forms the very bedrock of matter and energy. Could the faint translucent shapes we call ghosts be moments where these principles apply to ourselves? Tiny crossings between worlds, made possible when the threads of space-time briefly overlap? In this view, an apparition is like a particle blinking between states, a person glimpsed in one moment, only to vanish in the next, an echo from a parallel timeline. Scientists already speculate about higher dimensions, hidden spaces where matter and energy can seep in and out of our universe. What if some of these crossings are experienced as whispers, silhouettes, or sights at the edge of perception? What we call a ghost may be a brief, fragile overlap between you and another version of reality, a reminder that the boundaries of space and time are far thinner than we imagine. What if ghosts aren't just moments captured in mist or whispers in the dark? What if instead they are encounters across time and space? Moments when threads of different realities cross for an instant. Imagine a future version of yourself reaching backward, brushing the surface of your present moment. Or a version of yourself from a parallel timeline, momentarily bleeding into this one. A faint silhouette glimpsed out of the corner of your eye. Physics reminds us that time is not absolute. In relativity, every moment of the past, present, and future can coexist like pages in a book. What we call a ghost may be a visitor from another page, another chapter. In this sense, a ghost is not a departed soul, but a traveler, a messenger from another time, another space, an observer trying to connect across the veil. Perhaps every strange sound, every faint silhouette, every inexplicable moment is a reminder. We are not alone, not in space, not in time, not even within ourselves. What if this is more than a theory? What if ghosts, these faint silhouettes and whispers, point to a profound truth about ourselves? What if life and death aren't endpoints, but moments within a larger, multi-dimensional whole? What if our consciousness doesn't vanish when our body dies, but threads itself through countless moments, countless dimensions? In this view, immortality is not a matter of living forever in one place, but of existing everywhere at once. Our thoughts, our memories, our essence might echo across the threads of time and space. This isn't about fearing ghosts. It's about understanding ourselves. The moments we call hauntings may be whispers from the greater version of ourselves, reminding us that life doesn't end, it evolves. In accepting this possibility, we also accept that we are more than flesh and bone. We are threads in an infinite cosmic weave, luminous, interconnected, and eternal. So what are ghosts? Are they departed spirits? Glimmers from parallel worlds? Shadows of ourselves echoing across the threads of space and time? The truth is, we don't know. Not yet. But the questions they raise might be far more important than the answers. Perhaps ghosts are nature's reminder that our reality is not as solid nor as limited as we imagine. Perhaps they invite us to ponder the nature of consciousness, of life, and of death, and to accept that the universe may be far richer, far stranger, and far more connected than we ever dared to imagine. Whatever they are, spirits, signals, echoes, or threads, ghosts ask one timeless question. What if we are not alone? Not in space? Not in time? Not even within ourselves? The veil may be thin. The threads may be countless. The answers may still be beyond our reach. But as long as the question endures, so too will the wonder.